If you thought things couldn't get any more intense in Genoa City, think again. Because Friday's episode of The Young and the Restless is about to take everything to a whole new level. We're talking about shocking offers, dangerous situations, and a race against time that could change everything for some of your favorite characters. Let's start with the man who always knows how to stir the pot, Victor Newman. Now, Victor isn't just making moves, he's making bold, risky, and honestly, a little shocking ones. According to the latest spoilers, Victor is about to present what can only be described as an indecent proposal. And no, this isn't just business as usual. This is personal. Very personal. So, what exactly is Victor planning? Well, it all seems to connect back to the ongoing drama between Jack Abbott and Diane Abbott. If you've been following along, you already know things between them have been anything but stable. Their relationship has been hanging by a thread, and honestly, it wouldn't take much for everything to completely fall apart. And now, Victor might be the one ready to push it over the edge. Here's where things get really interesting. Victor appears to be stepping in to help Diane get a little revenge. Yes, revenge. And not just any kind of revenge, the kind that hits where it hurts the most. Because let's not forget why Diane is so upset in the first place. Jack crossed a line. A big one. When he ended up in bed with Patty Williams, it completely shattered whatever trust Diane still had left. That moment didn't just hurt Diane, it changed everything between them. And now, Diane may be looking for a way to make Jack feel that same kind of pain. Enter Victor Newman. So the big question is, what exactly is Victor offering? Is he suggesting that he and Diane take things to a physical level, just to get back at Jack? Or is this more of a calculated move, something staged, something strategic, a plan designed to make Jack believe he's been replaced? Because if there's one thing Victor understands better than anyone, it's how to manipulate a situation. He knows how to get inside people's heads. And if this is all about making Jack suffer, then Victor might already be 10 steps ahead. But here's the twist. Will Diane actually go along with it? That's where things get complicated. Because as angry as Diane is, this kind of move could change everything, not just for Jack, but for her as well. Crossing that line, even if it's part of a plan, could have consequences she might not be ready for. And let's be honest, teaming up with Victor Newman is never simple. There's always a price. Always. So now we're left wondering, is Diane desperate enough to say yes? Or will she hesitate when she realizes just how far this could go? Meanwhile, while all of this emotional and strategic drama is unfolding, something much more dangerous is happening elsewhere. And this situation? It's not about revenge. It's about survival. Because far away from Genoa City, in Las Vegas, things are taking a very dark turn. Nick Newman is in serious trouble. We're not talking about a minor issue or a temporary setback. This is life or death. And if that wasn't enough, Adam Newman is now caught right in the middle of it. Here's what we know so far. Matt Clark has taken things way too far. He's not just playing games anymore, he's in full control of a situation that's quickly spiraling out of control. Nick has already been left in a terrifying state. Unconscious. Vulnerable. And possibly closer to death than anyone realizes. When Adam finally tracks him down, the moment is intense. You can almost feel the panic. Adam sees his brother lying there, completely still, and for a second, it looks like it might already be too late. But Adam doesn't hesitate. He rushes in, trying to check if Nick is still alive, trying to do anything he can to help. And that's when everything goes wrong. Because Matt is still there. Watching. Waiting. And before Adam even has a chance to react, Matt strikes. A sudden hit from behind. No warning. No chance to fight back. Adam goes down instantly. Now both brothers are out cold. And just like that, the situation becomes even more dangerous than before. Think about it. Two powerful members of the Newman family, completely defenseless, in the hands of someone who clearly has no limits. This isn't just a bad situation anymore. It's a ticking time bomb. And back in Genoa City, there are people who are starting to realize something isn't right. One of them? Chelsea. She can feel it. That instinct, that something is off, that something has gone terribly wrong. And when that feeling hits, she doesn't ignore it. Instead, she reaches out for help. But not just any help. She calls Sharon. Because if there's anyone who would drop everything and run straight into danger to save Nick, it's her. And that's exactly what Sharon is about to do. Without wasting time, without overthinking it, Sharon makes a decision. She's going to Las Vegas. No matter what it takes. No matter what she might be walking into. Because this isn't just about helping someone. This is about saving someone she deeply cares about. And as she hits the road, one thing becomes very clear. She has no idea what's waiting for her on the other side. But she's going anyway. Because sometimes, you don't get to choose the situation. You just choose to show up. And in this case, showing up might mean facing one of the most dangerous moments yet. So now the question is, will Sharon get there in time? Or will she arrive, only to find that she's already too late? And what about Victor's plan with Diane? Will it succeed, or will it blow up in a way no one saw coming? Because one thing is certain. Friday's episode isn't just another chapter. It's a turning point. And by the time it's over, nothing might be the same again. Now, while the danger in Las Vegas is building with every second, back in Genoa City, a completely different kind of storm is starting to form. And this one? It's not about life or death. It's about relationships, pressure, and the kind of changes that slowly start to crack even the strongest bonds. Let's talk about Lauren Fenmore. At first glance, everything in her life looks stable. Strong marriage, successful career, and a future that seems pretty secure. But as we all know, in Genoa City, nothing stays perfect for long. Because Lauren is stepping into a brand new chapter of her life. A big one. She's now taking on a major role at Jabot's rival World, working closely with Phyllis Summers as her second-in-command at Summers' conglomerate. And if you know Phyllis, you already know this isn't going to be a calm, easy ride. Phyllis is intense. Driven. Unpredictable. And sometimes, a little bit chaotic. Which means Lauren is about to find herself in a position where she'll constantly have to balance control and loyalty, not just to the company, but to herself. This isn't just another job. This is a full commitment. Long hours. High pressure. Constant decisions. And while that might sound exciting on the surface, it also comes with a cost. Because while Lauren is moving forward in her career, her personal life might start to feel the impact. Especially when it comes to Michael Baldwin. Now, Michael has recently stepped into a completely different phase of his life. He's retired. Which means while Lauren's world is speeding up, Michael's is slowing down. And that difference? It can create distance. Think about it. One person is waking up early, diving into work, dealing with stress, solving problems all day. The other? Trying to adjust to a quieter life, maybe even figuring out what comes next. At first, it might not seem like a big deal. But over time, those little differences can turn into bigger ones. Less time together. Less shared experiences. More misunderstandings. And suddenly, a couple that once felt perfectly in sync starts to drift just a little bit apart. Not because they don't love each other, but because life is pulling them in different directions. And in a place like Genoa City, even the strongest couples aren't immune to that kind of pressure. So the big question here is, can Lauren and Michael find a way to stay connected through all of this? Or is this new chapter going to test their relationship in ways they didn't expect? Because sometimes, it's not the big dramatic moments that cause problems. It's the slow, quiet changes. The kind you don't notice until they've already started to take effect. And while Lauren is focused on proving herself in this new role, she might not even realize what's happening at home until it's too late. Meanwhile, let's shift back to something far more urgent. Because over in Las Vegas, the situation is only getting worse. Nick and Adam are both down, unconscious, and completely at the mercy of Matt Clark. Now, this isn't just about control anymore. This is about power. Matt has managed to take down two of the most powerful men in the Newman family, and right now, no one is there to stop him. No one, except maybe Sharon. But she's still on her way. Still racing against time. And every second matters. Because the longer Matt has control, the more dangerous things become. You have to wonder, what does Matt actually want? Is this about revenge? Money? Power? Or something even darker? Because whatever his endgame is, it's clear that he's not afraid to go all the way. And that's what makes him so dangerous. Back in Genoa City, there's growing tension. People are starting to feel it. That sense that something is wrong, even if they can't quite put their finger on it. And when those instincts start kicking in, it usually means one thing. Trouble is coming. Big trouble. Now here's where things start to connect. Because while Victor is busy setting up his plan with Diane, and Lauren is stepping into her new role, a crisis is unfolding that could pull everyone into it. And when it comes to the Newman family, nothing stays isolated for long. If Nick and Adam don't make it out of this situation safely, the impact is going to be massive. Emotional, personal, and possibly even business-related. Because the Newmans aren't just a family. They're a power structure. And when something threatens one part of it, the entire system feels it. So imagine this. Victor, in the middle of executing his plan with Diane, only to suddenly be pulled into a completely different crisis involving his sons. That kind of shift? It changes everything. Priorities flip. Plans fall apart. And the focus moves from revenge to survival. But right now, Victor doesn't know what's coming. Not yet. He's still focused on Jack. Still focused on control. Still playing the game the way he always does. But very soon, that game might be interrupted. And when it is, we could see a completely different side of Victor Newman. Because when it comes to his family, everything else comes second. Now, back on the road to Las Vegas, Sharon is getting closer. Closer to answers. Closer to danger. And closer to a moment that could define everything that happens next. She doesn't have all the details. She doesn't know exactly what she's walking into. But she knows one thing for sure. Nick needs her. And that's enough. That's always been enough. So as she continues her journey, the tension keeps building. Because we, as viewers, know what she's about to face. We know how bad things really are. But she doesn't. Not yet. And that makes everything even more intense. Because when she finally arrives, it's not going to be a simple rescue. It's going to be a confrontation. A dangerous one. So now we're left with even more questions. Will Lauren's new chapter bring success or strain? Will Victor's plan with Diane go forward or fall apart? And most importantly, will Sharon reach Nick and Adam before it's too late? Because right now, time is running out. And in true the young and the restless fashion, the calm before the storm is officially over. At this point, everything is moving fast, maybe too fast. The kind of fast where decisions aren't really thought through, they're made in the moment, driven by emotion, fear, and instinct. And that's exactly where things start to get dangerous. Let's go back to Las Vegas, because the situation there is reaching a critical level. Nick and Adam are still down. No movement. No response. And Matt Clark? He's still in control. Now, when someone like Matt gets this much power, this much control over a situation, it's never just about holding on to it. It's about what comes next. Because people like him don't just stop. They escalate. And that's what makes this moment so intense. Because right now, Nick and Adam aren't just victims of a bad situation, they're completely exposed. No backup. No protection. And no idea what Matt is planning to do next. But here's the thing. Moments like this? They don't stay quiet for long. Something always shifts. And this time, that shift might come from the one person Matt isn't fully prepared for. Sharon. Because while Matt may have planned for a lot of things, there's a good chance he didn't plan for her. Now think about Sharon for a second. She's not just rushing into this blindly. Yes, she's driven by emotion. Yes, she's worried about Nick. But she's also someone who has faced chaos before. She knows what it feels like to walk into uncertainty. She knows how to stay grounded, even when everything around her is falling apart. And that combination? It makes her stronger than people expect. So as she gets closer to Las Vegas, something starts to change. The fear is still there. The urgency is still there. But now, there's also focus. A kind of quiet determination. Because she knows that when she arrives, there won't be time to hesitate. She'll have to act. And she'll have to act fast. Meanwhile, back in Genoa City, Victor's plan is starting to take shape. And this is where things get complicated. Because on the surface, it might look simple. Victor helps Diane get revenge on Jack. Jack gets hurt. Diane feels satisfied. End of story. But with Victor? It's never that simple. There's always another layer. Another angle. Another outcome he's thinking about. Because Victor doesn't just play for the moment. He plays for the long game. So while Diane might believe this is about getting back at Jack, Victor could be thinking about something entirely different. Control. Influence. Leverage. Because if Diane agrees to his proposal, whatever that proposal fully turns out to be, she's stepping into Victor's world. And once you step into that world, it's very hard to step back out. Now here's where things get even more interesting. Diane is not a weak character. She's smart, strategic, and very aware of the risks around her. So she's not going to just say yes without thinking it through. She's going to question everything. Victor's motives, his timing, his expectations. Because deep down, she knows that nothing Victor does comes without consequences. So imagine this moment. Victor presents the idea. Calm. Confident. Almost casual. But underneath that calm, there's pressure. Because Victor doesn't make offers. He makes moves. And Diane? She has to decide whether she wants to be part of that move or stay out of it. But here's the twist. Even if she says no, that doesn't mean the situation ends. Because once Victor sets something in motion, it rarely just disappears. It adapts. It evolves. And sometimes, it finds another way forward. Now let's shift focus again. Back to Lauren and Michael. Because while everything else feels explosive and immediate, their situation is quieter. But no less important. In fact, sometimes the quiet stories are the ones that hit the hardest. Because there's no big dramatic moment. No sudden explosion. Just slow change. Subtle tension. And emotions that build over time. Lauren is trying to balance everything. Her new role. Her responsibilities. Her ambition. And her relationship. But balancing doesn't mean everything stays equal. Sometimes, something slips. And in this case, it might be time. Time with Michael. Time for their relationship. Time to just be together without pressure. And Michael? He's adjusting. Trying to find his place in this new version of life. Trying to stay connected, even as things around him change. But adjustment isn't always easy. Especially when it feels like the person you've always been in sync with is now moving at a different pace. And that's where the emotional tension starts to build. Not from conflict, but from distance. And sometimes, distance is harder to fix than conflict. Because you don't always notice it right away. Until one day, you do. And by then, it's already there. Now, let's bring everything back together. Because all of these storylines? They're not separate. They're connected. Victor's plan. Diane's decision. Lauren's new chapter. Nick and Adam's danger. Sharon's journey. They're all moving at the same time. Building towards something bigger. And that's what makes this moment feel so intense. Because it's not just one thing happening. It's everything happening. At once. So as we move closer to what comes next, the tension keeps rising. The stakes keep getting higher. And the outcomes? More unpredictable than ever. So now the question is, when Sharon finally comes face to face with Matt, what will she do? When Diane gives Victor her answer, what will it change? And when Lauren and Michael finally feel the impact of this new chapter, will they be ready to face it? Because right now, everything is building. Everything is shifting. And very soon, something is going to break. Now we're at that point, where everything feels like it's about to collide. Not slowly. Not gently. But all at once. Because every storyline we've been following, it's reaching a moment where decisions can't be delayed anymore. Let's go straight back to Las Vegas, because this is where the real danger is unfolding. Nick and Adam are still unconscious. Still vulnerable. And Matt Clark? He's not losing control, he's tightening it. This is the kind of situation where every second matters. Because when someone like Matt feels like they're in power, they don't just sit still. They act. And whatever move he makes next, it's not going to be small. Now imagine the scene for a second. A quiet room. 2 men down. No one else around. And Matt standing there, thinking. Planning. Deciding what comes next. That silence? It's not calm. It's pressure. The kind that builds right before something big happens. And then, everything shifts. Because Sharon is about to arrive. She's close now. Closer than ever. And she's not slowing down. There's no hesitation in her anymore. No second guessing. Just focus. Because at this point, she knows she's running out of time. And when time runs out in a situation like this, people don't get second chances. So as she gets closer to the truth, one thing becomes clear. This isn't going to be a rescue. It's going to be a confrontation. And not just with the situation, but with Matt himself. Now think about what that means. Sharon walking into a space where Matt already has control. Where Nick and Adam are already down. Where the balance of power is completely against her. That's not just risky. That's dangerous. But here's the thing about Sharon. She doesn't walk away when things get hard. She steps in. Even when the odds aren't in her favor. Even when she knows it could go wrong. And that's exactly what makes this moment so intense. Because when she finally walks into that room, everything changes. Meanwhile, back in Genoa City, Victor is getting closer to locking in his plan. And this is where things take a sharper turn. Because whatever Victor proposed to Diane, it's not just sitting there anymore. It's moving forward. One way or another. Now, Diane is standing at a crossroads. On one side, there's anger. Hurt. The need for payback. On the other, there's consequence. Reputation. And the risk of making a decision that could follow her for a long time. Because let's be real. If Diane agrees to Victor's plan, especially if it involves something personal, something emotional, something that crosses a line, it's not something she can just undo later. And she knows that. That's why this moment matters. Because this isn't just about Jack anymore. It's about who Diane chooses to become after everything that's happened. Does she stay in control? Or does she let the anger take over? And Victor? He's watching. Waiting. Because he understands something very important. People make their most dangerous decisions when they're emotional. And right now, Diane is exactly in that space. So whatever she decides, Victor is ready. Because either way, he wins something. Now let's shift again. Back to Lauren and Michael. Because while everything else feels like it's moving at full speed, their situation is reaching a quieter, but equally important turning point. The distance we talked about before? It's becoming more noticeable. More real. Not dramatic. Not explosive. But present. Lauren is deep into her new role now. Focused. Driven. Committed to making it work. And in doing that, she's giving more and more of her time to something outside of her personal life. Meanwhile, Michael is watching that happen. Not with anger. Not with resentment. But with awareness. Because sometimes, you don't need a big argument to know something has changed. You just feel it. In the silence. In the missed moments. In the conversations that don't happen. And that's where things start to shift emotionally. Because both of them care. Both of them want things to work. But wanting something and maintaining it aren't always the same. And this is the moment where they have to decide. Do they adjust? Do they communicate? Do they find a way to reconnect? Or do they let things continue the way they are and hope it somehow fixes itself? Because if there's one thing we know, it doesn't fix itself. Now let's bring everything back together one more time. Because right now, everything is at a breaking point. Sharon is about to face Matt. Nick and Adam are still in danger. Victor is waiting on Diane's decision. Lauren and Michael are feeling the shift in their relationship. And all of these moments? They're about to move forward. At the same time. So here's what makes this episode so powerful. It's not just about what happens. It's about what changes. Because after this, things won't go back to normal. They can't. Too much has happened. Too many lines have been crossed. Too many decisions have been made. So now we're left with the biggest questions yet. What will Sharon do when she finally comes face to face with Matt? Will she be able to save Nick and Adam, or will she walk into something even worse? Will Diane accept Victor's proposal, and if she does, what kind of consequences will follow? And can Lauren and Michael catch what's happening in time, before the distance between them becomes something harder to fix? Because right now, everything is on the edge. And the next move? It changes everything. And now, we've reached the moment where everything comes together. No more build-up. No more waiting. This is where decisions turn into consequences. Let's go straight to Las Vegas, because this is where everything is about to explode. Sharon finally arrives. After everything, the rush, the fear, the uncertainty, she's here. And the second she steps into that situation, she realizes just how serious it really is. Nick. Adam. Both down. Both completely vulnerable. And Matt Clark still in control. This isn't what she hoped for. But it's exactly what she feared. Now here's the thing. This is the kind of moment where most people would freeze. Where fear would take over. Where the situation would feel too big, too dangerous, too out of control. But Sharon? She doesn't freeze. She focuses. Because in a moment like this, panic doesn't help anyone. Action does. So she steps forward. Carefully. Watching every move. Every detail. Because she knows one wrong step could make things worse. And Matt? He sees her. Of course he does. And just like that, the dynamic shifts. Because now, it's no longer a one-sided situation. Now there's resistance. Now there's someone standing in his way. And that changes everything. The tension in that moment? It's unreal. Because this isn't just a confrontation. It's a test. A test of control. A test of courage. A test of who's going to make the next move. And here's where it gets even more intense. Because Sharon isn't just thinking about herself. She's thinking about Nick. About Adam. About getting them out of there alive. Which means whatever she does next, it has to be right. No mistakes. No hesitation. Meanwhile, back in Genoa City, the emotional tension is reaching its peak. Let's go back to Victor and Diane. Because by now, a decision has been made. Or at least, a direction has been chosen. Diane has had time to think. To process. To weigh the risk against the reward. And now, she knows what she's going to do. But here's the thing. No matter what choice she makes, it comes with consequences. If she says yes to Victor, she steps into a plan that could hurt Jack in ways he never expected. But at the same time, she risks becoming exactly what she's been trying not to be. Someone driven by revenge instead of control. And if she says no, she walks away from that power. That opportunity to strike back. But she also keeps a part of herself intact. And Victor? He's ready either way. Because Victor doesn't lose. He adapts. If Diane joins him, he gains influence. If she refuses, he finds another angle. That's how he works. Always moving. Always thinking ahead. Now let's shift one final time. To Lauren and Michael. Because their story might not have explosions or danger, but it has something just as powerful. Reality. The kind that slowly sets in. The kind that forces you to look at your life and ask, is this still working? By now, the distance between them is no longer subtle. It's there. Clear. Unavoidable. Not because they don't care, but because things have changed. And now, they have to face that. Together. Or separately. Because this is the moment where they either reconnect or continue drifting apart. And sometimes, that decision doesn't come from one big conversation. It comes from a series of small choices. Do they make time for each other? Do they communicate? Do they try? Or do they let life keep pulling them in different directions? And just like that, their story reaches its own turning point. Now let's bring everything together for the final time. Las Vegas. Genoa City. Every storyline. Every character. Every decision. It's all connected now. Because what happens next doesn't just affect one person. It affects everyone. Sharon is standing face to face with danger. Nick and Adam's lives are still hanging in the balance. Victor's plan is either about to succeed or take a completely unexpected turn. Diane is stepping into a decision that could redefine her. And Lauren and Michael are facing a reality they can't ignore anymore. This is what makes this episode so powerful. It's not just drama. It's transformation. Because after this, nothing stays the same. Relationships shift. Power dynamics change. And characters are forced to deal with the consequences of what they've done. So now, as everything unfolds, we're left with the final questions. Will Sharon be able to outmaneuver Matt and save Nick and Adam? Will Victor's plan give Diane the revenge she's looking for, or will it backfire in ways no one expected? And can Lauren and Michael find their way back to each other before the distance becomes permanent? Because in The Young and the Restless, every choice matters. Every moment counts. And every episode brings us closer to something bigger. And this time, that something bigger is already here. So if you thought things were intense before, just wait. Because this This is only the beginning.